This was suggested by The Ringer's NBA reporter Michael Pena.
Hello, Michael.
In one of his recent pieces of work. The Bulls send Alex Caruso and Andre Drummond to the New Orleans Pelicans. In return, the Pelicans send the Bulls Jaxson Hayes, young big man. Kyra Lewis Jr., young point guard.
Yeah.
A 2024 top 4 protected first-round pick and a 2024 second-round pick that is actually currently owned by the Pelicans that used to be the Bulls from the Lonzo Ball sign-in trade. So it would be getting their 2024 protected first and their own 2024 second back from the Pelicans. The Bulls would also get about $1.5 million in cap relief in that deal. Now, let me just start here. We can talk about these specific pieces.
Okay.
We heard from multiple different sources and reports that the Bulls are looking for 2 first-round picks from Alex Caruso, setting that price high to see, hey, you want this all-defensive team stud for your playoff team? Elevate your offer. I think I might like the idea better of instead of 2 firsts, maybe a first-round pick and 1 or 2 pieces of young talent that's already in the league and might be looking for a change of scenery. I don't know about you, Big Dave. When trades are getting flown around and these first-round draft picks are being treated like freaking gold.
True.
So many of those picks don't amount to what people put like the value that people put on them when we are debating these hypothetical trades. I know that Jaxson Hayes and Kyra Lewis Jr. have not had the starts of their career that they would have hoped for and that the Pelicans probably would have hoped for, but something that is tangible, something that I have seen, to me is easier to place value on than something that I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Like, put a wrench in, my hand, you'll get nothing. I don't know what you're going to get out of that. You know what I mean? Right, it was screw. I might be able to tighten some things for you. You know what I mean? You give a wrench to a person who actually knows what they're doing with building and things like that, you might get gold out of that. You know what I mean? And that's the point. You know what I mean? Like, some of these picks is just fool's gold. It's just people don't know what they're doing. They just have these picks, don't understand. But as far as this trade, I would absolutely do this.
Yeah?
I would 100% pull the trigger on this. I am bullish on this. I am down for this. It's the fact that I like Jaxson Hayes. I always have liked Jaxson Hayes. 2, where are we struggling at right now? We're struggling at the point guard position, having one in like that. Kyra Lewis Jr., you bring in a young guy, what is he, 21 years old?
Yep.
Bring him in. Let's see what the kid's got. Let's see how it goes. Man, he's 3 years in the league. Let's try him. I believe both of them are restricting free agents after the season, after 2 qualifying hours,
still on
2 qualifying offers, to both of them. That's the only I don't know about this for me. You know what I mean? Like, it was 1 year. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because if you ball out, then you be asking for more money. You know what I mean? It might become that kind of issue. That's the only thing that kind of lends me to kind of push away from it. But I still would do that. The 1.5 in cap relief. That's another awesome thing for the Chicago Bulls. They like saving some money. Come on now. And the 2 picks, getting the top 4 protected pick, is awesome. But also getting one in that same year, in that second pick that was yours anyway. You know what I mean? Getting those picks back. Honestly, I make that deal. I do this deal, man. And I know you want more for Alex Caruso. And you probably could. And if you can get more, you get those 2-round picks like you did, that Knicks offer we talked about. Yeah, you do that. Do that deal instead. But if you're like, this is what I have left, and you can take Andre Drummond with you, come on, man. I'm not against any of this.
So it seems like we have some, lukewarm differing of opinion from people in the comments as far as whether or not they like this trade. I'm not feeling too warm in that Pels trade.
Fair.
Jeff Rocks, meanwhile, saying the upside of picks is you don't even have to keep them. You can collect them and package them and send them somewhere else for a player you really want.
Shoot it and caboot it.
There you go. Maybe the Bulls, if they get a first-round pick in 2024, can then turn around and swing that if they want to trade into the first round of the 2023 draft, assuming they have to send their pick to Orlando because they are not going to land in that top 4 if the lottery doesn't go their way.
Something tells me that's true.
It's very possible. The other element that I'm honestly surprised that no one in the comments has brought up yet, that I remember when I was doing a little bit of my, background on Kira Lewis Jr. earlier today. He had that ACL, MCL injury last season.
Right. He sure
and
did.
missed the first part of this season coming back from that injury. And then once he came back, I want to say mid to late December, he has really struggled to fight his way back into the Pelicans rotation.
Very good point.
That's not to necessarily say that he's a bust.
Right.
But what the Pels have right now, the way that Jose Alvarado has ascended to being as important as he is,
took his job,
and that the Pelicans' backcourt seems to be pretty much planted as is. He had that injury. He can't fight his way back into that rotation. Bulls fans, it's like, okay, we're dealing with this with Lonzo, and you really want to maybe take a swing on another young guard, a young point guard
with a knee injury
coming off an ACL. Are we really talking about this?
But the difference is that might work in your favor of him being a restricted free agent then. You know what I'm saying? That might work in your favor. If that's the issue and the injury. With Lonzo, it's different because you're tied in. You're locked in, you know what I'm saying, to that contract. With him, doesn't work. There's an out. You still have an out with that. You know what I mean? But, yeah, if it comes down to that, I don't know, man. I like Jaxson Hayes a lot. I liked him when they had him. I enjoyed Jaxson Hayes.
Coming out of the draft, and I have honestly been surprised to see him fight to find his footing on that Pelicans team. He's not playing a ton of minutes.
Not a ton.
He's a former top 10 pick himself.
Yeah, that's correct.
Number 8, right? In that 2020 draft?
I believe so.
I thought it was 9, but either way.
Was Lewis what, like 12, 13?
He was 13.
13, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, like you got 2 high draft picks, you know what I'm saying, on the team. Jaxson Hayes fighting to find that room. I mean, you got Valanciunas, you know what I'm saying? Like balling out, doing his thing.
Yeah.
Like that.
It was 8, by the way.
It was 8, right on. Look at Steve flexing over there. But
no, I said 8. He said 9.
Oh, he said 9?
I got it wrong.
Matt Peck, let me give you yours, sir. It's the shoes. But, yeah, man, I just like the way he plays. I just like the motor that he plays with. I believe he had a game this season against OKC when he had like 21 and 6 off the bench. You know what I mean? Like he's had flashes of those kind of things. And if you're going to be letting him go, and you've heard Marquez and Will say this, if you're going to let Caruso go, then let everybody go.
Right.
So I'm kind of looking at it from that angle. If it's a blow-up situation, then I want young people. You know what I mean? I want young talent to come in here with these guys, and let's see what we got. So he'll have a chance to start immediately. You know what I mean? If he comes in here, he won't be worried about a backup with Tony Bradley. No, he'll come in and have a chance to start and compete. So I don't know. I like it, man. I like it.
So Jaxson Hayes, now in his 4th season, he was part of that 2019 draft class, is playing his fewest minutes per game in his 4th NBA season. He was at about 17 his rookie year, then 16, then 20 last season. This season he is at just over 14 minutes per game, 29 appearances, most of which are coming off the bench. You know, I mentioned Valanciunas doing what Valanciunas do.
Doing what he do.
But I mean, I loved so many of the parts of Jaxson Hayes' game when he was coming into the NBA,
man,
when he was part of the draft class. Like,
it's nice, man.
Especially when you see this Bulls team kind of lacking in athleticism in that front court.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
Correctamundo, sir.
Could this guy help us out a little bit there?
Yeah. He's got goon about him.
A little bit more info on Kira Lewis Jr. You mentioned his contract situation. The Pels did exercise their club option on him on that rookie deal for the 23-24 season. Okay. So he is under contract for $5.7 million in 23-24. And then will be a restricted free agent, as you mentioned, in 2024.
Right. So what did the GOAT have words for us on this?
Yes. So the GOAT on this particular trade proposal said he thinks the Bulls say no, and he would too. He said, while I'm sure the Pelicans would be salivating to consolidate fringe rotation players for Alex Caruso, neither Hayes nor Lewis are particularly intriguing. The Pelicans are on the rise. Low-end prospects and a pick in the 20s doesn't cut it for Alex Caruso. So, you know, that is why he thinks that is not good enough for the Bulls and why the Bulls would say no. It's also, I think, why he would say no if he were in the Bulls front office's shoes.
Yeah.
And, again, it is for some Bulls fans, it might be hard to wrap your head around the Bulls putting that high of an asking price on Alex Caruso. A first-round pick with light protections on it. Pelicans probably aren't going to wind their way into the top 4. Right. So it's probably a pick that conveys in 2024.
Correct. You need it.
And 2 young players that have potential and might just be players in that category of young player that needs a change of scenery.
Yeah.
To find the role in which they can blossom. That's a lot. A first-round pick and 2 young players seems like a lot for Alex Caruso.
And not only those roles, man, roles that you need on this team. You know what I mean? You need the things that they do, you need them on this team. And that's the other key part of this, man, along with the youth, along with all those things.
Right.
They play positions that you desperately need. Seriously. You need it.
But, so it's interesting if the Bulls are going to field these phone calls and at least engage in preliminary talks.
Okay.
They should be, especially with Caruso, who is such a valuable piece for playoff-bound teams on a very team-friendly deal and under contract for a couple more years. You set your asking price at more than what he's worth.
Yes, correct.
So that you
Absolutely
can negotiate to something that you feel is fair.
Shoot for the stars, land on the clouds.
That's why all of these reports are flying around that the Bulls are asking for 2 first-round picks for Alex Caruso.
Right.
We're talking about other rumors where the Bulls are like, oh, yeah, we'll give you Zach LaVine for 2 firsts in 27 and 29 and Russell Westbrook's expiring contract.
Right.
And we're talking also about Alex Caruso demanding 2 firsts. That's just a little perspective for you there.
A little bit.
Like serious NBA talking heads are talking about Zach LaVine for 2 firsts in 27 and 29. And we're also talking about the Bulls demanding 2 firsts for Alex Caruso.
Come on, man. Something's got to give. Something's got to give.
That's wild. That is wild.
Something's got to give on that. And also, it moves Alex to another conference as well. You know what I mean? Like, I would like him to not be in the Eastern Conference anymore. I think that would be helpful because we got it with the Knicks and the trade they offer. I mean, I would make the trade, but I would not be looking forward to playing the Knicks, all the time because of Alex Caruso. Let's move him to a whole nother conference. Let him deal with that over there. We've done our time with the Pelicans. We have to worry about that. I don't have to worry. I'm not concerned about the Pelicans making a run to the NBA Finals this season. Not this season. I'm not concerned about it. So I'm like, I'm okay.
Right.
I'm very comfortable with him going to that team, you know what I'm saying, and helping them. Like, he's going to help them a lot for sure. But I'm comfortable with what the Bulls could get in return, man. I really am.
And Jeff Rocks brings up a good point, too, saying that the Bulls might be one of the few teams who are actually selling at this trade deadline, so that means there could be a bidding war for Caruso.
It's true. It could be.
That is something that if the Bulls are smart and decide, hey, we're going to seriously consider trading Caruso, and that's step one of blowing this up.
Yeah.
Engaging in lots of talks with lots of different teams to see if they can get a bidding war going.
Right.
Look what Danny Ainge did with Utah. Woo! Everything that they got for Gobert and Mitchell collectively. Woo! Every team out there in the NBA that's playoff bound right now and saying, hey, we could use a little defensive punch and an energy guy off our bench. You want Alex Caruso? Because he is about the best damn version of that in the NBA right now.
Yes, he is.
Give us an offer, and we'll tell you whether or not it's the best offer we have so far.
Come on, hand it over.
I can't remember which one, but one of the reports said that there are at least a dozen teams calling the Bulls about Alex Caruso right now.
I mean, you need to be calling more. 24 hours, 7 days a week. How bad you want it. How bad you trying to win.
You got a base.
You got a base. How bad you trying to win out here. You want to go deep in the playoffs, don't you? You want to do this? Well, then you got to give it up to get it, man. That's all we saying. You got to give it up to get it. Hand it over.
Par Junior Sports saying it just depends on how desperate these other teams are to get impact players, and that kind of goes back to what you were saying before about whether it's Jake Crowder, whether it's Alex Caruso. It's like those are the bright shining rims on the tires,
right? Correct.
And the last piece you're adding,
right?
Exactly. Too sweet ride,
exactly.
And it's like the Bulls right now. Right now, the Bulls engine appees to be kaput.
It's trash,
and the transmission's about to fall out.
You know what I mean? They need brakes, man.
Like going over a speed bump. So those teams that feel like they are one piece away, between now and a week from today, we just need to make a couple of moves or one big move to get that one piece that this roster is lacking to make a legitimate run at a title this season.
Yeah.
Those teams swing.
Yes.
If they see that guy as that missing piece.
Yes.
And apparently, according to reports from all over the league, a lot of teams are eyeing Alex Caruso as that piece right now. And I know it would probably upset a lot of Bulls fans to see
Sure,
him go.
sure.
And would break certain hearts. Shout out to our guy Jimmy at UK Chicago Bulls. I know he is a diehard Caruso fan, and he is not the only one out there.
Loves him.
Because you see what this dude does for this team.
You see it often.
Which is why, if the Bulls are going to entertain those calls, you set that price high.
Up there,
set
baby.
that price high.
To the tippy top and land on that cloud.
Tippy top.
Tippy top.
Everything you got.